What's up, Miamians? It's your neighborhood, Jolie, and this is how to make it in Miami.
My name is Steve of Flamingo Electric.
So that means you are an electrician.
Yes, correct.
Okay, and we're at one of your
Projects I'm doing.
project. So how long have you been an electrician?
Since I was about 21, so I want to say maybe a little over 20 years.
Was it like something like your father did or something? Or like what
No,
made you?
my whole family all were handymen.
Okay.
We all do like the plumbing, roofing, whatever. But I'm the only one that chose to pick a certain field. I didn't want to get involved in plumbing. I didn't want to get involved in appliance repair. I didn't want to get involved in roofing, definitely, especially in Miami, Florida. So I stuck with the electrical. I got into electrical when I was in high school in New York. So in high school, you do 9 weeks of different trades.
Okay.
So every 9 weeks, you transfer to another trade. So I started off with carpentry, then I did appliance, and electrical. I fell in love with it. But when I moved to Miami, I didn't do it. You know, I was just working regular school and job, and that's it. And I think after having my first child, I got into electrical.
Okay.
So I had a mentor that actually put me on.
So you got your schooling in high school, basically?
Yeah. You know, that program I went to was a vocational school.
Oh.
So it's a regular school, but they offer other things you can do.
And what age did you move to Miami?
At 17.
Okay. So do you feel like you're more New Yorkish or you're more like Miami now?
I think I'm native now. So do I miss New York? I do. But do I want to live there?
Oh, okay. Because I met you on the water.
On the boat.
So yeah, so you do boat like too, or?
Boating was a little side thing I was doing.
Okay.
I had a warehouse. I was doing motorcycles along with electrical work. So that was an extra income for me.
Okay.
So that's how you met me on the boat.
Okay.
So I was out there doing a rental actually.
So using what you learned in school, basically you put it to work down here in Miami. And were you working for like a facility or did you always just start your own home business?
I actually got a job working with my mentor. He had his own little small company. And that's the only way I was doing the job because I didn't have any experience. So I had to go to him. I got a job with him and I worked with him for about 2 years. And then the company that he was doing work for, they hired me directly. So that's how I got my experience in commercial. So the electrical has different areas. You have commercial, you have residential, which is a house. Then you have industrial, like big, industrial warehouses, complexes, buildings. They make those considered to be industrial.
And what category do
I'm doing commercial and residential.
Okay. You mentioned mentor. I hear people talk about mentors often. Is this like somebody you like paid for a service for? Like you wanted to go further in life?
No,
or you
he was a neighbor at my mom's house. And he was doing electrical way before he was older than me. He passed away 2 years ago. So now it's like I'm living what he was going through. Sometimes I need it, but I can't call him. So it's all right though.
Okay.
I figured out, I just be thinking of what he do. But I got on with him because he put his hand out to help me out. So, anybody who's older, when they say young man wants help, most of us want to put our hand out to help them out. So.
That's like nice to know because I hear people talk about mentors all the time. Like everything is like about money these days. It's like nobody just ever really wants to like help.
There's a lot of respect that's lost. People are too busy watching what they're doing now, not paying attention to what they had to go through to get to this point. It's like, okay, in the electrical field, you got to start about the helper.
Okay.
We have no title, but it's the helper. You go on the job, you get paid decent money, and you want to go to school, they'll pay for school for you. And they have a school that you go to. You do your 4 years like a regular college, but you go there after work. You go to work from 7 o'clock in the morning, 3 in the afternoon, then you go to class at 5 o'clock. 5 o'clock to maybe 4 hours a day. Monday through Thursday, you do that for 4 years. And every level is another level of electrical that you'll be doing. You learn about motors, you learn about mathematics you got to do when you take the test for your license. They teach you how to calculate how much wire size you need, how much amperage you need to feed location or equipment. All those things are, every year you learn them different. They teach you how to do the mechanics. Electrical, you have mechanics. Mechanics
like car mechanic?
No. The mechanic, the person that actually run pipes.
Okay.
So somebody who run pipes, that's all they do, they're mechanics. Because you got to bend pipe, make them fit the wall properly and everything. Then you strap them up and you get the pipe ready for somebody to come behind them and pull wire in the pipe. So the person that ran the pipe is considered to be a mechanic. So the person that comes behind them is the person that's a specialist in wiring and all that stuff. And he doesn't have to do all that mechanically.
Okay.
Now, every electrician does not know how to bend pipe. Every electrician does not know in their mind how to just calculate something and to drop it down. You have to learn these things and memorize it. So everybody has their weak and their strong point when it comes to electrical.
Would you need an assistant? Like, do you need an assistant, or do you know how to do both?
It depends on what you're doing.
Okay.
But most times you're doing a job that's big, you're gonna need help.
Okay.
You always get a helper, somebody with the systems on your level, another person that's beneath the both of you guys who's learning. Like they call him an apprentice. So he's learning, and you put that person to work with you to help you just do whatever you tell him to do. Like if you're on the other side of the wall, you gotta pull a wire. You feed the wire while you pull it. But you teach them as well how to do certain things, so you can move on to something else and do while they're doing it, and then you come back and supervise what they're doing.
Do you think being an electrician is like an acquired field, or do you think anybody could just get in and do it?
Anybody can get into it. If you just, some people they have a big fear of electrical. They're worried about getting electrocuted. Every job you do has a hazard to it. So this is the worst one about it. I mean, plumbing, you're gonna get wet. Electrical, you won't feel it. You might not wake up again, but
Have you ever been electrocuted?
a couple of times.
But you woke up.
I didn't get to that point where I was out. Actually, the first time I got electrocuted was when I started working for the company. I was doing a job at a pizzeria, and we have a student that was working with us, and you know, when you're doing work, they have safety mechanisms so you don't touch the power. But we were doing the lighting in the ceiling. It was another guy that was on the same line. We were doing the lights. We have a habit of stripping wires and twisting with the bare fingers. They tell you don't do that. You get a pair of pliers. But you know, when you become when you come up there, you're like, I don't need that, but you don't need it. You just twist the wire, put them together. So we just happen to both do the same thing at the same time. This young kid that was an apprentice, he was putting the panel covers on. And we put breakers with tape on it. No, do not turn these breakers on. He wasn't thinking. He just took all the tape off, put the cover on, turn all the breakers on. And we know that the breakers are off. And what did he do? He turned them on. So we both touched it. We got electrocuted. So we got electrocuted with something a little bit stronger than what you have in a house. A house will give you 120, 240. With a commercial, it's 277. 277 is not that big of a difference, but it will hold you. It won't like just move your hand, it will hold you.
So did it like burn?
It burned my fingers because that's why I was twisting.
Oh, damn.
So all these fingers here got burnt off, but it held on to me. It wasn't until one of the guys see what was going on. The older guy was getting electrocuted. They kicked the ladder, he fell over, and they came by with a piece of wood and hit the ladder, and I fell off. So it's
scary.
It is scary. Any job has hazardous, but you know.
How often do you have new projects?
I mean, there's no specific time it comes. We have a peak season when, like, during the summertime, things kind of like fluctuate. It might be 50-50 because you might have people want to do work with their house because now school's out. They have more time because the kids are not in school. Or you might have tax season. People get their taxes back. They want to remodel their house now because they got some money. It's up and down throughout the year. It's different times, but you're always gonna find work no matter what. So somebody always needs something done. You know, I contract a lot of work with SPNL. SPNL has issues. People have older amount of houses. Their meter cans go bad after some amount of years, and they'll call me, hey, listen, they don't want to cut the electric power off. This work got to be fixed before they could, you know, get the meter on the house. So I go down and look at the work, get them the price, I pull a permit, get a check by the DLA, and they'll call up and tell me everything is safe. They can go ahead and reconnect the power in the house.
How long do you think people should wait to change wiring in their house?
Wiring can last maybe 40, 50 years in a house, no problem. It's when a house is built according to its size. Electrical panels are installed in a house according to what the house has. So if you have a house with 2 bedrooms or 3 bedrooms, they're gonna give you a certain size amperage. Some people don't realize when you overload and you keep adding to a house, you're gonna add a big part of your house. You don't realize when you do these things, it makes the panel work a little harder. And that panel can only do so much. When you add, you don't realize about, let me increase my size of my panel box. So what it does is fill out a strain in that little panel box. And the meter can outside is getting overworked. So then what it does is it starts melting. It'll melt to the point where it literally just makes a spark, blow up, burn up, catch a fire in the house, and now you know what happened. You don't know. But it's nothing that you got to maintain.
Okay.
If you have a house and you don't do anything to the house, everything's the same, leave that there forever. When you get a house, especially if like somebody's gonna buy it, or somebody's gonna do insurance on it, they kind of like
Updated.
They don't tell you to update it. It depends on how old the box is outside. But the actual wiring for the house, it doesn't go bad like that. It's the actual service that goes bad.
I get that. Yeah, like sometimes if I have like the blow dryer and then like the flat iron and then all that, then like then the light thing will shut off. So would that mean that you probably need like a new box thing?
No, because most times a lot of people don't pay attention to like the outlets. Some outlets are made with a little slot on the front of it, and some have a straight line.
Okay.
That's a 20 amp outlet. That's what you use for commercial, in the bathroom, in the kitchen. Those pull a lot of juice. When you have a regular outlet like in the bedroom, it doesn't pull that much because you only have a TV in there. But when you go in the bathroom using the hair dryer, that pulls. Anything with heat, it pulls a lot of energy. Like your AC, your dishwasher, your dryer, your washing machine, a toaster, your oven, those draw a lot of energy.
Okay. So how safe is it to have extension cord in another extension cord? Because I do that.
It's okay to have, but if you're pulling it to a distance and you're using it for so many other things, it's gonna make the wire go warm.
Okay.
I don't know if you ever pay attention. It depends on what you're doing.
No, I have like the circuit breaker one, and then I have like the regular traditional one. Like I put it in just so I can have like some length.
No, you're all right.
Okay.
It's funny when people try to use that with big equipment, and that's when you're gonna see the wire get hot.
Okay.
And the wire will plug together. If it gets loose, it's gonna burn you. It's gonna burn.
Okay.
Because you have to have a tight connection. Once you have a loose connection, that gives it room for it to wiggle and move. And when it's doing this, it's like the arc. Arc is like a spark. And little by little, it's gonna burn the metal, and then it's gonna burn the plastic, and then the wire gets burnt up, and that's how you have the fire.
So I guess that's kind of cool. I never thought about like electrician
Nobody does.
work like
Nobody,
that. Like until you see
all our work is behind the wall, so you
Yeah.
can't see nothing.
Yeah, because once you put that up, we're gonna forget the electrician was even there.
Exactly. So you just worried about, I gotta plug here, I gotta plug there. You ain't think about how I had to get ran or how to put it in and stuff like that.
That's cool. Do you have any like recommendations for anybody that maybe will want to start being an electrician?
You can learn a lot just by going on YouTube, reading books and stuff like that. But nobody reads books anymore. They might want to play a little audible in their ear maybe. But if you do want to get in the field, get a job and work with somewhere to help them. Even if you don't have that much knowledge, work with a company that's small. Because they will show you how to do something. Don't worry about the money part right now. Because you're not going to make a lot of money you're looking for. It's only when time goes on you start making that money because you want to have the experience, you want to see your resume, you have so many years, and then when you feel like you're ready, go take a class. You have to get the class to your contractor, you have to do your journeyman course. The journeyman course is like, you're like another level, you can run a job. That's when you become a journeyman. You can run a job, and they'll hire you, they pay you top dollar for it, but you have a certain level you go to. After that, you want to leave and go home if you want to. So Florida is good because there's no union down here. And up north there's a union. So up there it's like you gotta be careful what you told you step on. But down in Florida, it's like free for anybody can
Wide
run
open.
it down. Wide open.
So are you hiring? Do you need any apprentice maybe?
Anybody want to come learn, they can come work with me. I show them, some of the ropes that we down there, but I don't have work steady for anybody to come in. I have enough guys right now.
Okay.
But if I'm doing a big job, I'm gonna need people. Yeah, I'll put somebody on to learn and do certain things. I'm not gonna show them everything right away. They're gonna take their time to learn. Most people come, they want to learn. They're gonna put the energy and time and effort. They're not gonna just come down and just do this and I'm gone. People that want to learn, they're gonna come and say, I want to learn this. They're gonna do the work. They're gonna ask questions. I prefer somebody to ask questions. Because for me, it refreshes my memory and it lets them know what's going on. They understand the job.
Speaking of refreshing your memory, do you have to take like updated courses like for your license, or is it just
every 2 years you got to do a refresher course. So once you get the license, it'll go away. But you got to do a refresher course and then you got to be certified.
What is something you would tell to your younger self?
I would have told myself to get into it sooner. I would have got into it sooner, but you're still exploring. Most young guys don't have their mind set on what they want to do. But if I'd have known this, you know, high school, I know what's going on, I would have known, you know, which way to go, who to deal with, I would have gotten between them sooner.
So how do you make it in Miami? Coming as a New Yorker, just coming and being able to like do it.
You know, and I don't want to take nothing away from people from Florida, but they stay comfortable and get a decent job and just punching the clock and work. From living in New York, all we know is hustle. And I don't mean just hustle like doing dirt, just always doing something. You're gonna buy something, turn around and sell it. You're gonna have a job, do 2 jobs. You always been like that. So for me to come down here, it didn't take me that long for me to find a way. I came down there, I got me a job right away. And I ended up getting 2 jobs before I even started school. So I've just been that person always networking. And I've always dealt with older people, never dealt with people like my age. So the older people kind of like gave me the path.
So you pretty much knew what to do.
When I came down
here,
yeah.
just...
I mean, the first thing I did when I came down there, I just took about a week. I just bought my dad's car and drove around, got lost, and just seen random people. I stopped talking to people. I used to play basketball. So I'd go to the parks and I meet people over there. People don't really talk to you down like that. Back when I came in, so like, they kind of like, why you talking to? I know you. But in New York, I mean, even if people say that we don't talk to people, we kind of rude, but we still talk to each other. You don't know something, you can ask anybody to answer. But if you don't say nothing, they're not gonna talk to you. But I didn't have a problem with talk. I just, excuse me, where did you get this from? Where is this at? That's how you find out about it.
And how can people find you? How can they find your company?
I'm on Google, Flamingo Electric Services, my office is located in Miramar, and I have an Instagram, Flamingo Electric Services.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right.
Learn how to make it in Miami.